we've got them on the phone. We've got phones with phones with phones, so I hope that everyone can hear. Welcome to Training Tuesday, everyone. I'm Heidi Reese, the Training Programs Manager for Dayton Superior. So glad that you could make it. You guys know the drill. You're all muted. Don't let that stop you from chatting and doing a Q&A session through the Zoom functionality with me. So we're going to go ahead and get started since we're a little late getting into the game. And just want to remind you that this presentation is intended for training purposes only. Anything we're going to talk about as far as products, machines, how to do things, please go out to DaytonSuperior.com and make sure that you read up on the application guides and whatnot so that you are aware of how to use the products fully. And we're here for you from a training perspective if you need more training. And we can make sure that we get you taken care of. This is a short blurb to discuss taper lock and all of the things around it. So Dayton Superior, who are we? We are the leading solution provider for the concrete construction industry. We provide you the full project life cycle from bid to build. Not only the products, but the support, the engineering, the training. You see all of our products and our product lines here. Between accessories, chemicals, forming, we've got it for you. So moving right along, we're going to talk taper lock. So in the past, we have already done some taper lock, but we're going to go once again briefly into splicing types and the industry definitions, how it's used, an introduction to the taper lock system itself. So, we've got to figure out mechanical splicing versus not and how those are used. And then we're going to talk about our awesome taper lock. In addition, this time, we're going to talk more about the machine and we're going to meet the field service team. We're going to talk more about the equipment and once again, provide you with the resources that we can have for you to assist in making everything successful. Okay. So with us to teach us about this taper lock are two of our awesome experts. You're first going to hear from Matt Mayer, who is one of our technical services representatives in the splicing group. And then we're going to hear more about the machines and the field service group from Chris Keys. He is the lead field service technician. So a little bit about them. Matt Mayer is a graduate of Texas A&M University and has been in and around the construction industry for over 15 years, dealing with installation and fireplaces. For 10 of those years, he worked with rebar fabrication and concrete accessories. Matt is a member of the Concrete Reinforcing Steel Institute, or as we like to say it, CRSI, and sits on the committee of the reinforcing bar fabrication for them. Moving on to Chris. Chris, like I said, is the lead field service technician and manages the at-customer resources for the taper lock product line. And he has a certification in tool and machine technology, as well as a bachelor's degree in education from Long Island University. Hey, New York boy. So Chris is a good friend. Matt is too, but Chris runs with my husband. So he's like a massive, what are you? What are you, Chris?
Triathlon.
Yeah, you're a triathlon. So he's running around this office all the time, talking to our customers. And he came to Dayton Superior with not only industry experience and all that running that I'm talking about, but he has classroom experience and uses those talents to work with you guys as our customers on installing and training for successful use. In addition, he maintains the taper lock resources as well as, like I said before, the field team tech team. And he drives home that focus on customer service. So perk up those ears. We're getting ready to talk about taper lock. So Matt, I want you to go ahead and take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Heidi. Apologize for the technical glitches, guys. Can't ever have anything go smoothly. So hope everybody's having a good Tuesday. And like Heidi said, we just want to jump in and give you some general information that you've had before. So this is sort of basic stuff. This is what types of splices are out there. When we talk about rebar, there's two types of splices. There's the tried and true trusty lap splice. And then there are mechanical splices. And so the differences between those two are pretty easy to see visually. But just to give you some definitions and some information about them. Lap splices, the dictionary book definition is just the overlapping of two reinforcing bars by placing them side by side. One of the things that we've discovered about those over the last 60 to 100 years of construction is just that they are not extremely reliable when you get into certain situations. Their strength is very concrete dependent and then dependent on how many bar ties the guys put on them, how much lap they give each bar, that kind of stuff. They're not really reliable when you look at cyclic loading conditions under ACI. They can't be used in number 14 and 18 bars. And then you can get into design issues where too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And so you get too much rebar in one section and you get some congestion, you get rock pockets, and issues with strength and integrity in your builds. And then you have the final straw there is that they're insufficient for vertical applications, especially when you get into the bigger bars and you start talking about bridges of piers and that kind of thing. So mechanical splices on the other side are the complete assembly of an end-bearing sleeve to accomplish the splicing of reinforcing bars. They are precise and reliable with lower installed costs than laps. So when we talk about precision, one of the examples I always like to give people from my days as a rebar salesman was just a simple paving job. Shouldn't have been very difficult. Was only about 20 tons and had the customer call me and say, hey, we're out of rebar. We need you to send us some more. I took a look at the contract and they were out of rebar. They'd used all of the rebar in the contract. So had a conversation with the customer, went out to the job site to see what was going on. And all of their laps for this simple paving job should have been between 12 and 16 inches. And the placers on that particular job, this isn't true across the board. Obviously, there's some amazing placers out there. But for this particular job, they had lap slices that were anywhere from 60 inches to 36 inches and 40 inches. None of them were where they were supposed to be. And so the precision of the job was extremely off, and it had cost them a significant amount of material and a significant amount of labor. So when you look at mechanical splices, that eliminates a lot of that concern. A couple of the other things that it helps with are to help solve issues with segmental pours. So if you're doing multiple pours over a series of weeks or months or even years, you can use form savers to allow those to be done in the time frame that you need them to be done. It also protects concrete forms from damage, so you're not punching holes through your forms. These that you see in the picture have holes designed into them, but most forms don't. And one of the things that contractors don't think about is every hole that you punch through a plywood form is money that you have to pay for repairs. And so it's an additional cost. And so form savers obviously eliminate that concern. So moving on from there, we want to talk about the types of mechanical splice. Again, this is all information we've covered previously in some of these training Tuesdays, but we want to go over it. Up until, this is where we have to get a little specific, up until this year, the industry standard has been that there are two types of mechanical splices. There's a type 1 and a type 2. Type 1 has to perform better than the bar itself for the yield strength. It actually has to hold two pieces of rebar together at 125% of the yield strength. Type 2 has to allow two pieces of rebar to perform exactly as one piece. So they have to perform at 100% of the specified tensile strength of the bar. Now, the caveat is that as of 2025, ACI 318 Committee B has come out with a new code 425, and it does specify that there are three new types of rebar. It is the S, G, and L classes is what they're calling them. The reason that we have not updated our material here is because, one, most municipalities and design engineers are not going to adopt the 25 code right away, so we'll still be working off of ACI 318.19. And also, this is a short code cycle. So for those of you that are familiar with ACI, normally it's a 5-year cycle. This is a 3-year, so there will be a new code coming out in 2028. And there has been enough discussion in the industry that it is most likely that those codes are going to change back to a type 1 and type 2 with the addition of a type 3 is what the conversation is leaning towards right now. But that's why we haven't updated our information is because most design engineers are going to stick with a type 1 and type 2 for right now. If you do run into a project where it's using ACI 31825 and they have an SG or L class on there, then reach out to either myself or one of the other TSRs with the Dayton team, and we can help walk you through the products that are approved for that. So getting through to the taper lock stuff, where are mechanical splices applicable? Anywhere that you see concrete. That's just the easy answer to move things along. They're just anywhere that you see concrete, whether it's bridges, warehouses, garages, high rises, airports, they're definitely going to be mechanical splices in those projects. These are a couple of examples of projects that we've done with Dayton. The JP Morgan World Chase headquarters was a taper lock project with grade 100 rebar, as was the Freedom Tower in New York City. And then we also have taper lock on the JFK Airport, Las Vegas Raiders Stadium, Tappan Zee Bridge, Kansas City Airport. Pretty much, again, anywhere that you see concrete and major concrete builds, there's going to be opportunity for mechanical couplers, which means there's opportunity for you to trim up the cost on the project and trim up the labor time that is spent to make things a little bit faster, which is what a lot of projects are moving to nowadays, is how fast can we get this done. So to walk you through our series of taper lock products and exactly what it is, we have several different offerings, but what is taper lock as a system and what makes it different? It is a taper threaded mechanical system. So what that means is it is not your standard national course parallel thread. It's not a parallel thread system. It is tapered. The easiest way that I explain it to people is the machine that Chris will talk about here in a little bit is a giant pencil sharpener for rebar. It puts a tapered thread. It is. That's exactly what it looks like. And it puts a little tapered thread on a bar. It will work for any grade of rebar from 60 up to 100. It will work for any size of rebar from number 4 all the way up to number 18. And it will also work on epoxy, plain, galvanized, Chromex, really any type of bar that you've got out there, except for fiberglass reinforcing, we can put a thread on. There's no installation tools required. That's one of the great things for the guys in the field. All of our specifications, all of our testing, everything is approved for a minimum of 5 foot-pounds of torque. So it's just a simple hand-tight application. We have several different products that are available for that. This is just a quick overview of them, and then we'll get into a couple of specific ones. But we have kind of the 3 cornerstones that I would point out to you guys are the D310, which connects 2 bars of the same size, again, anywhere from number 4 to number 18. These are approved across the country on various DOTs for tie bar applications. They're used in connecting walls and connecting bars when you have extremely long pours. If you've got caissons or you've got piers, pilings that are going into a bridge or going under a bridge, they're great for connecting bars for those. And then our D340 form saver there on the top right corner is the exact same product, just with the flans on it. And again, talking about saving yourself some money, keeping it away from destroying forms, and being able to do segmental pours. The D340 is the way to go. It allows you to prepare for those future connections. It is by far the most popular form saver that we've seen on the market. And then in the bottom left corner, we've got our D351 end anchor. This is a load bearing end anchor. We'll talk a little bit more about the functionality and the use of end anchors here in a minute. But again, we've got these all the way up to number 18. They're great for column to slab connections and for footings as well. So as you can see, there's a bunch of other products, and we've got all those available for you with technical data sheets and with our splicing handbook, any information or resources that you need. Again, these are just close-ups showing you some of the applications and different options for D310 and the D340 to highlight those 2 products specifically. Really can't say enough about the D340 and its functionality as a form saver. Got a project in Louisiana right now that's using a ton of those and has been very helpful for the contractor there to avoid some damage that they were looking at doing to their forms. So 351, 350 end anchors. The difference between those two numbers is just the size of the end anchor. One is a 5AB, which means it's 5 times nominally the bar diameter. The other one is 10 times, and it's a difference between regular connection and a seismic end anchor. Again, pictures on the left there are from the JP Morgan World Chase headquarters. This was a great use of this. The original design was for all of those bars to be 90-degree hooks, and the placement of those and getting those to sit in the right orientation and be able to be safe for the guys that were placing them, be easy to do for concrete pours, be like all of the functionality of that job was coming to a grinding halt because of the hook design. And we were able to talk to the engineer and get them to transition everything to an end anchor design. We were able to go into taper lock and replace those much cleaner, much smoother, and achieved a much better design integrity for them. One of the other options that we want to talk about, and one of the other things we want to highlight, is that we do have form savers available in a forged version. So this is based off of our DBDI product line, which we've covered in other trainings. This would come from our facility, and so it is a forged coupler, female coupler, but it is tapped for the taper lock system. These are only available up to number 11, but they can be fully customized to whatever your design needs are. So you can do just a single end, like you see on the bottom left, or you can do bends in the bar. You can do double-ended females. You can do females with end anchors on them. You can do all kinds of customization here if you just reach out and talk to your TSR about what you're wanting to do. I've done a few of these with custom S-bends in them, and use all kinds of different stuff where guys needed something specific for their job, and we were able to talk to our MTO team and get those designed up and done for them. This is the other part of the end anchors I wanted to talk about. Again, built off of our DBDI product line. These specifically are our D158. As you can see down at the bottom, the 158C can be done with either a parallel thread or our taper lock thread. But the value of these is that they are all hot forged. It's not a two-piece system. It is a one-piece single system. It achieves a type 2 splice when you're using it with one of our threaded connections. And they meet or exceed ASTM A970. So the safety improvement on a job site, the installation improvement on a job site, you're not using any tools, you're not using any torque wrenches or pneumatic wrenches. If you have to do a field installed thing, you're just designed in and placing them. And then the other thing that I would highlight on the end anchors, I know Heidi's moving me along. The other thing I would highlight on the end anchors is just that if you use a standard hook, one of the things that we've seen in development is a standard 90-degree hook only achieves about 60% of the strength of a bar. And so when you're on the end of a pour, if there's any tension pulling put on that bar, it can pop the end of the concrete, whereas the end anchors will achieve 100% of the tensile strength of the bar. So it's a great improvement for not only congestion issues, but for strength issues of the project and the integrity of the project as well. So now you can go to the next slide, Heidi.
You sure?
Yep, we're good. The whole system is based off of the D370 bar. Chris will talk about this more, but again, we place machines around the country at variety of manufacturing facilities, rebar fabrication facilities, and they can all produce these male bars with the thread on them. Again, you can fully customize these. Obviously, your local fab shop that has a machine in it can do whatever you need, or you can order these from us and we can produce them again with whatever customization options you need there to be, including the type 6, which is down there on the bottom right, which has a bolt head, which is a really interesting application that we won't get into right now.
Sometime we'll do another one.
Sometime. So all of that just to wrap up here and highlight for you guys, just the advantages of the tape lock system, the advantages of the end anchor to finish out my portion. You can see the difference in congestion there in those two. Ease of installation for them. You get rid of hooks, you get rid of a lot of opportunities for rock pockets and for concrete to get stalled. You replace your stirrups, you have less tension development. And of course, they're great in seismic applications. So if you're out on the West Coast, or even in the central US where they're doing a lot of FEMA buildings, and tornado shelters, they're spectacular applications in those areas.
All right, before you wrap it up, let's watch this video. Just kind of walk us through what's going on here. So this is our taper lock coupling system. Yep.
This is just a fancy display of our tape lock coupling system. And then this is just an explanation of, again, the rebar machines or the threading machines are placed at local fabricators. They get check gauges like this so they can check and verify that the system is working properly, that everything's been threaded properly. And then once it gets on site, it's really simple, easy application, very fast, hand tight, no tools required, type through splice, again, for every grade of rebar and every size of rebar. So a really versatile system that is very helpful to have when you're looking to make connections.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Matt. I know it was a kind of a pain to get on and you did fantastic with it. Sorry to push you along. Now I'm going to push Mr. Chris along. He's going to talk about the taper lock 2G. And if you want to know what he looks like, he's the dude in the bottom left-hand corner there.
Thank you, Heidi and Matt, for the introduction. This is, again, this machine has many names. We call it 2G machine, or you can call it a glorified pencil sharpener or a tank.
Apparently.
So this machine, as you can see, does 4 through 18 with an easy setup, 5 to 10 minutes of a setup, with two types of chasers. It threads all sizes and all types, which you can see plain, galvanized, epoxy, stainless, and Chromex. We do support the epoxy and stainless with a different style of chaser, which supports the gumminess that the stainless steel has. Also, it threads the sizes from grades from 60 to 100 with an easy selector switch for those grades. So the operator can easily move and program and set up the machine very easily.
So this is where they do it right here?
Right in the control panel where my hand is on the lower left corner where Heidi mentioned. As you can see in the lower right, the tech data sheet per size or per bar, this variable frequency drive ramps up to the smaller sizes and ramps down to when you're doing 18s for a machine work process to hold chaser life. As we continue to the next slide, our growing team of 4 provides service to and training, and rest assured that we are trying to service all your needs and questions, whether it's a phone call or an email, as we do our service around the country.
Yep, that's really cool to see the team there. Let's watch this video that we did.
Hello, my name is Chris Keys. I'm field
That's
service
you.
technician supervisor for Taper Lock. And here is Keaton, our field technician. And this is our 2G machine. The device will automatically clamp the bar and it'll cycle start. As the cycle starts, it probably takes 35 seconds to thread. Water-soluble coolant that recycles through the tank and the machine. And when the machine pops, the fun stops. As the machine retracts back, Keaton will be able to take out the number 5 bar to gauge. And we want to make sure that the threads meet inside the white cutout area.
All right, I think that was a little choppy for you guys, so you'll have to watch it again because the recording will be good. But tell us a little bit more about the machine placement and how do you request, availability, all that good
Yes,
stuff.
Heidi, if you're wanting to place a machine, you will get with your TSR sales representative.
So like Matt, who just
Matt,
talked to us, yeah.
yep.
Sam, who's on the call, yay, Sam.
Yep. And around the country, we have our TSRs that Heidi mentioned, and you would want to request it. And then we would start that process of communication internally of machine availability, making sure the machine is ready for you. And then we call the customer, making sure the power is ready. And when do you want it? So it probably takes a week for a transport, but then we set up a schedule to meet and then train your operators. From that, we have a demo kit that everything's included, whether it's you're training 2 or a group of 10 to 15. We will break it off in a 1 or 2 day course, providing you fully tooled setup for that training session, along with all the paperwork that comes with it, the manual, the electrical schematics, also certification papers to make sure that your operators are fully trained on setup, setting up the machine, making sure that they know what to look for. And if they have any problems, our growing team of 4 can provide you over the phone service. Also, the iPhones provide a great tool so you can send pictures, send videos, and we can assess it there prior to if we need to go out and be on the job site. We want to make sure that you are fully operated within 48 hours or with a plan to service you in your shop.
Okay, let's look at like how the machines come in. So look at, and that's pretty, huh?
So this is, as you can see, the machine comes in fully crated, might be dirty, might have some dents, some bruises, but we clean it up and service it from top to bottom, inside out, inspect all the components and pieces that are wearable items, and we box it up again to look like it's a brand new machine or as best as possible, making sure that you are 100% satisfied when you receive that machine on a machine swap.
Yeah, that's great. So guys, we're a little over, actually, like, okay, since we got started 5 minutes, but are there any questions? Go ahead and put those into the chat or the Q&A section of Zoom while I hit upon the resources. So not only do we have the resources of Chris, thank you, by the way, Mr. Chris,
Sure.
and Matt and Sam, who I referenced, and Zach, and I'm missing somebody else, Mike.
Mike Best, yeah.
Mr. Best. All of these TSRs and field service, they're there for us. In addition, we have the product. I spelled pages wrong. So we have product pays. And, but what that means is just go out to DaytonSuperior.com and you can search for the D340 that Matt talked about earlier or the D310, and you'll find the pages with all of the information, such as technical data sheets. Here's an example of one. All of that information will be on the left-hand side of the product page if it's available to you. There'll be handbooks such as the rebar splicing handbook or evaluation IATMO reports. If it is ER 319 or 245 compliant, then we have those evaluation reports available to you. If you need an order form because you need to order taper lock, the splicing systems, here is that. You can just download that and either print it, put it in, get it to your TSR or your salesperson, and there's that. So if you need to know who your technical salesperson is, or just your regular dealer sales manager, or if you want to talk to Chuck or myself for the training, I don't think you're on here, Chris, lucky duck, but there is a click when you need answers. So if you go to the DaytonSuperior.com again, and you drop down the contact us, you'll find this page. Here's a snippet of it, of the maps. And you have a Dayton Superior assignments. For this situation, it's Dayton Superior. You'll find a map. Click on your state, and voila, there is the information, emails, phone numbers, you got it, as well as your customer service and your technical assistance numbers right there. But your customer service representatives are also on these maps as well. It's really a one-stop shop. I didn't have a slide here, but you guys know we're here for you for training. Chuck is always out and about. He's actually out and about next week. He's sitting in the room. Hey, Chuck, say hey. Hey, I make him do that every week, but he is hanging out here. We've given other experts the ability to come and chat with us. There's a QR code right there that you can scan, and you can get with Chuck and me to get you a more broader training if you need it. Or maybe you need something on the other splicing, or you want to do a bar support training. We're here for you. So I'm not seeing any questions come through. I think we're good to go. So give it just a minute, and I'm going to let you know that we record each and every one of these, and they'll be out on, guess what? Said it a third time now, DaytonSuperior.com. So you just search on Training Tuesday. You'll find 2 links out there. One's to sign up for the next week. And next week, we're going to be doing tilt up inserts and anchors, I believe. Yeah, we haven't even told people about that yet. So here's your first listen into that, but get out there and sign up for it, as well as you'll see all the latest and greatest that we've done the last 4. That will also point you to various pages. There's a splicing page out there so you can see if you want to get more information on the taper lock. So with that, thank you all for your patience. Thank you for joining us on this fantastic Training Tuesday. Matt, you're awesome for doing all you did to get in here and make this happen. Chris, you're doubly awesome for just being here beside me. And everybody else, you're triply awesome. So have a fantastic Training Tuesday. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Thanks, Ed.